Fit, active, healthy, happy, enjoying the prime of your life. Looking out for your health and wellness, this is Health Talk with Fred Lowry from Lowry Drug in Statesville. Visit Fred at his store, conveniently located on Hartness Road in Statesville.
Good afternoon. This is Fred Lowry, pharmacist and doctor of natural medicine of Lowry Drug. This episode of Health Talk was pre-recorded for November the 21st, 2025. The year is moving on. We've got some beautiful fall weather here. This program is intended to share knowledge and information based on my research and experience. It's not intended to offer individual advice, nor does it replace a one-on-one relationship with a qualified healthcare professional. Your daily choices are yours and have more to do with your health than anyone in the healthcare field. My hopes are that this show will empower you with knowledge to take a more proactive approach with your health. Some of my sources include, but are not limited to, various health feeds, including Epic Times, Mercola, Children's Health Defense, PubMed, various Substack articles. This week I got a text from a friend. It was a little chart that actually compared the calories to donuts and a pumpkin swirl frost coffee. Interesting. In that apparently one of these drinks is equivalent to about 17 donuts in terms of sugar. You know, some of the things that we consume every day we just don't really think about in terms of calories, and perhaps we don't want to think about them. But apparently a medium pumpkin swirl frost coffee with cream contains 140 grams of sugar. That's about 28 teaspoonfuls of sugar. So the total calories of that one little drink in the morning, 890. Who would have thought? In the news this week, and maybe last week, headlines about melatonin and heart failure. So basically, there's a report that says there's a new study that claims long-term use of melatonin could increase the risk of heart failure and death. Now, does that really sound right? It didn't to me. There's so many things about that. Just on the surface, you could say, well, these individuals were already having issues with sleep, which is why they needed melatonin as a sleep aid. And of course, problems with sleep is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease as well as any other chronic disease. But there was really no mention of that or other conditions. Apparently, it was about 130,000 adults with chronic insomnia that had used melatonin for more than a year, and they used, the research was based on medical health records. So it was a computer search, basically. It resulted in saying that people that use melatonin had 2 times the risk of death from any other cause, 90% higher risk of health failure, and a 3.5 times higher rate of hospitalization for health failure. And I would put forth that this really is incomplete and very misleading. So these are considered preliminary. They haven't really been reviewed, but it doesn't really say that or mean that melatonin causes heart disease. There are so many factors that play a role in this. One of the limitations of this, apparently they use databases in the U.S. and the United Kingdom, and so that database basically has to dictate that melatonin was used, which also means that because melatonin is a prescription in the UK, that was easy to assess, but it also means that patients they assessed in the U.S. could have been taking melatonin, but it wasn't in their medical records. Not uncommon. So What that means is there could have been a lot of people that was in the non-melatonin group that were actually in the melatonin group. The other health issues are not included. The severity of the insomnia is not included. No mention as to whether people had sleep apnea. So this is one of those kind of eye-grabbing things that pops up in the news that really I don't think has great validity. Melatonin I'd reported on a few weeks ago, and it's been shown in studies to protect against ionized radiation. It's an antioxidant. It's been used as an adjunct in antiviral type things, and it really impacts your immune health, apparently. Of course, we know it as a sleep aid. So there are a lot of things that could be done to improve your sleep situation. Obviously, melatonin is one of them. We've talked about trying to reset your circadian clock so that you're using sunlight and the sunrise, sunsets to help with that. There's a lot of things that can be done for sleep. So I think looking at the underlying cause of these issues, which is rarely done in today's world, and for various reasons. One of the headlines also that kind of grabbed me was that apparently cognitive challenges have risen sharply among young Americans. Now, this is kind of scary, but young people's health problems really have really increased over the years, particularly the last 10. And so, if we look at the causes, you could certainly say toxic load, the number of toxins that they come in contact with, a decreased nutritional status, vitamins, and lifestyle kind of things certainly could play a role in this. But basically, something's happening here where young adults are reporting more and more memory lapses, attention problems, and mental fatigue than before. So this sense of brain fog is not just limited to older adults. So it's showing up in people that study, that are working. This is at a time when really their mental capabilities should be at their optimal. So these any cognitive struggles like this, generally they don't show up overnight. Now there are some exceptions to that, and particularly obviously with substance abuse, but in general, most people, there's a slow building of a combination of metabolic stresses, maybe environmental, sleep, emotional overload that ends up distracting, if you will, from things and causing issues with mental processing. So this is a widespread, really public health warning, and it seems to cut across some income, education, and geographic type situations. Stay tuned for more health talk. Welcome back to Health Talk. This is Fred Lowry of Lowry Drug in Statesville, talking about cognition and how it seems to be changing with young people. So we've got these situations, in modern life, whatever modern means, that we basically are draining our mental clarity, if you will. And that can happen with a lot of things. So, and part of it has to do with focus, what you're focused on, and really deciding what's important. So as an example, if you're having a relationship issue or a work issue or some kind of distraction from what may truly be important, that's certainly draining your mental resources, and that burns a lot of mental energy. But I think this is a little different. So all these things are draining mental clarity. People's mind may feel a little slower, and it basically is a signal that your brain's energy system needs repairing. This came from a large-scale analysis published in Neurology, examined national data from behavioral risk factor surveillance system, tracks health trends across the country. And apparently it was about 4.5 million responses collected between 2013 and 23. So it did focus on people that did not have depression or other mental related issues. They set out to identify who was the most affected by in the terms of increased rate of cognitive disability, which means difficulty in concentrating, remembering, or making decisions due to a lack of physical, mental, or emotional condition. Young adults showed the fastest increase in cognitive impairment. It nearly doubled with the age group of 18 to 39, from 5.1% in 2013 to 9.7% in 2023. In contrast, older people over 70 showed the smallest decline. Now, that could be perhaps because they had already had some decline, but nonetheless, the socioeconomic status seems to have an impact. So lower earners seem to have more cognitive difficulty, and that could be to the lack of resources to buy quality food or seek help with various things. That prevalence apparently was rising 8.5 to 12.6%. And individuals with higher income showed a little lower rate, but it still was increasing overall. So job security, poor diet, limited access of medical care could be partly at fault with some of that. But chronic health conditions are also a major driver of cognitive decline. Blood pressure, as an example, is a big deal. Issues with blood clotting or strokes, obviously, that would be an issue. People with diabetes had actually 40 to 60% higher rates than those without those conditions. So metabolic and vascular health directly impacts the brain. Of course, we could say everything impacts that. Smokers, that's an issue probably related to toxicity. That prevalence climbed from 8.6% to 13.1% during those years, but you also have to ask, well, they were smoking back then. What are the other factors or things that has happened since then? Pardon me. Apparently, people living in the South and the Midwest has the highest rate of cognitive disability versus those in the Northeast. So the largest increases reportedly occurred after 2016. Once again, what's happened between then and now? So there were significant jumps in cognitive disability beginning with 2016 and being a consistent forward trend through 2023. Was it societal shifts, heavier media consumption, economic instability, onset of chronic stress, lifestyle factors? I don't think so. All these things have pretty much always been there. Of course, they are increasing, of course. So this is kind of an overall picture of health function related to chronic illness. And so you think about food consumption. Let's take that pumpkin spice with cream drink in the morning. You get blood sugar fluctuations with that, perhaps blood pressure issues. The sugar causes inflammation, oxidative stress. Your body's not able to produce energy on a cellular level. So basically, we're looking at the failure of the body to produce energy and making you feel tired, not just physically, but mentally. So, there's so many pieces to this. People under financial stress, social stress, they have more cortisol in their body, the stress hormone. Their bodies, sleep cycles get disturbed, glucose metabolism's disturbed. It even affects what we call neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt. So basically, when you're under all these stressors, you have an increased energy or requirement for energy. Some people reach for the energy drinks. They're not managing their overall health as well, eating erratically. Another thing that happens is if you focus on the negative things out there, current affairs, political situations, that is an energy leak in your life. And one of the things that I think is important to look at when you're wanting to make changes in your health is to identify what we call the energy leaks. Where are you losing energy that doing with activities that's just not beneficial overall? So there are root causes, that bleeds over into sleep, nutritional deficiency, sedentary behavior, and stress. So cognitive health is really perhaps a mirror of social or metabolic well-being. And so there are many things to look at this, as it turns out, and we've talked about this in some detail before, artificial sweeteners are heavily linked to fast memory loss. And also the shrinking verbal fluency. Artificial sweeteners are obviously promoted as a smart swap for sugar, but they carry a lot of negative consequences. So when we look at cognitive decline, forgetting names, misplacing your cues, language errors, so over time, these problems can become more serious and eventually work its way into dementia. So one of the points to this too is that, if you're having issues, even minor issues, now's the time to address them, because the worse they get, the more difficult they'll be to correct, and the less energy and ability you'll have to be able to focus and make those improvements. So like all health issues, this takes your attention in order to make changes. Artificial sweeteners, aspartame, saccharin, and these low-calorie type drinks, when you're choosing these products, you're basically exposing your nervous system to chemicals that alter communication between brain cells and also impact your gut, your brain-gut connection. So these daily choices of food choices about what you eat, what you drink are not small. So they can definitely impact over a long time memory, focus, and language skills. and accelerate brain aging. I had a older couple in the store the other day, and the man was asking about the differences in a particular product. And then the question came up, well, does it really matter because I'm old? And the point is that it always matters. Just because you feel like you're aged, your decisions are still important. So one of the studies about these artificial sweeteners done in Brazil, about 12,000 people for 8 years. We're going to cover that in just a moment, coming up on a break here. Stay tuned for more Health Talk. This is Fred Lowry of Lowry Drug in Statesville.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears.
Welcome back to Health Talk. Lowry Drug and Hartness Road on Statesville. Did I just say in Hartness Road on Statesville? A little dyslexic today, I guess. We were established in 1959. We're a traditional family pharmacy with a state-of-the-art compounding laboratory. We offer a full line of medical equipment and supplies, including CPAP, scooters, lift chairs, and oxygen. We have a full line of supplements, nutritionals, herbs, essential oils, homeopathics, and more. On the homeopathic side, we just got in a new line of oleous homeopathics, similar to boron, but these products are not made with lactose. Very good choice. So we're talking about cognitive function and the ability to communicate, perhaps, which I was failing at a little bit just a few minutes ago. As we think about these things and these changes, I talk with a lot of people, and sometimes in the store, I'll ask a few questions. And I'll say, well, you need to stop doing this or that. And I think when people first hear that, or whatever it may be, it's always like, that's not even a possibility. Just the concept of that, of making a change in whatever you're doing in your life is like there's no way I'm going to do that. It's almost like there's no way I can do that. I don't know what it is, but that's really pretty limiting overall in the way we think. And so, if you're presented with a change in your health position, and your reaction is, I can't do that. Well, you probably can't, but the fact of the matter is you can. It's almost a juvenile response, and I'm saying this. We all kind of have that kind of thought process, but it's almost like a child that you can't. Our brain's like a child, maybe is a better way to put it. That we can't even fathom giving up bread or dairy or soft drinks or artificial sweeteners. It's the fact is you can, and if your brain is working like that, that should be a clue that something really has to change, and your brain is maybe hardwired for that, but everybody can make changes in their health. This study I was referring to showed that with artificial sweeteners, which many of you don't consume those, but the ones that do are basically hooked on them. It does change your brain chemistry. But middle-aged adults apparently are the ones that are the most effective. They experience a much faster decline in overall cognition compared with other people. The acceleration of this was strongest in people younger than 60. So it suggests that this risk is magnified during middle life. So faster brain aging shows up in specific thinking skills, increased cognitive decline, diabetes increased the risk even further. It just means your body is vulnerable to these artificial sweeteners. Some sweeteners are worse than others. Aspartame, I think, is probably the worst. The more you consume, the faster your cognitive decline. While the highest group that, in terms of cognitive decline, was where they were consuming 191 milligrams per day. That's equivalent to just one can of diet soft drink with aspartame. They showed a very quick drop in memory, verbal fluency, and processing speed to light users. And I don't know how you can be even a light user when just one soft drink can put you in that category. So these artificial sweeteners are tied to neurotransmitter activity. And so the neurotransmitters, your chemical messengers, they're made from protein. And so you've got this a metabolic strain, if you will, with this mechanism of the artificial sweetener. Your body thinks you're getting something sweet. You get a normal insulin response. And so all this changes how your body is utilizing energy. So these artificial sweeteners themselves are definitely an independent factor in brain health. Aspartame also harms the good bacteria in your gut, changes the microbiome, that has a big impact on the way your brain works and everything. I would say that without the bacteria in this world, that we would not be able to function properly. Pretty interesting. So in looking at other things that impact cognition and brain health, we could look at prescriptions and or other drugs. So other drugs could include cigarettes. Alcohol certainly has a negative impact on brain function. Pain medications, anxiety medications, the benzodiazepines, all these increase the risk of dementia. There's a category of drugs called anticholinergics. They include allergy medicines, sleep medicines, and medications for urinary incontinence. Benadryl is one of them, diphenhydramine, hydroxyzine, oxybutynin, some antidepressants. All these can negatively impact brain function. Anti-seizure medications, I mean, obviously those have to be used. One that maybe doesn't is the overuse of proton pump inhibitors, the antacids. There is a big link to an increased risk of dementia, probably related to the inability to break down proteins in the gut. If you can't break down proteins, then you're not able to make neurotransmitters. But there's also B vitamins are associated with that. So B vitamins are crucial for nerve functions. Interestingly enough, I didn't realize this, these proton pump inhibitors can cause acute delirium through electrolyte imbalances, so causing imbalances. So there are certainly foods that have a negative impact, sugary drinks, some processed meats, processed foods, certainly anything with chemicals related to that. Fried foods, particularly foods fried in seed oils. Seed oils are tremendously detrimental to your health and your body's ability to function properly. Dietary factors playing a role. So there are supplements that can improve this situation. Fish oil is one of them. The DHA is crucial for the structure of cells and the brain and brain plasticity, and can help with cognitive decline. These type of products have been used with children in attention deficit disorder to improve focus. More on this when we come back. This is Health Talk.
Doctor, my
Welcome back to Health Talk. This is Fred Lowry, pharmacist and doctor of natural medicine, Lowry Drug in Statesville. So, other supplements that may be helpful and or foods. Obviously, omega-3 fats, fatty fish can be helpful with that. Small amount of walnuts. So antioxidants, including vitamin C, vitamin E, can certainly be helpful. One of the things functionally is basically decreasing neuroinflammation, and a lot of that also has to do with overall toxic load. Keep in mind, dietary-wise, when you're consuming wheat, it's pretty well known at this point in time that there are glycophosphates, Roundup contamination with some of those products, and that interferes with your liver, your ability to detoxify properly. There are some drugs in that category as well, but it's all of this is kind of an illustration, really, of how many factors play a role in this. Having enough B vitamins on board, vital for all kinds of things, nerve function. There's something also, a cardiovascular risk factor, elevated homocysteine levels, and the B vitamins, the B6, B12, and folate help the body deal with elevated homocysteine levels, more risk. So the dietary patterns certainly have a huge role in your health. Some people use adaptogens to deal with stress in their life. We talked about lithium being a few weeks ago being an important supplement that may help with cognitive decline. We've talked about methylene blue in the past. Methylene blue, a very interesting drug, if you will, that helps the body improve oxygenation and improve ATP, energy on a cellular level. So those are things that could be helpful. One of the things that at least my mind goes to related to cognitive decline, and I must say that I have been in a retail setting. I think I have seen this, and my employees have seen it in some people increase since the COVID era. And when you start thinking about, well, what's different? Why all of a sudden since 2013, young people have cognitive decline? So we just reaching the tipping point of the toxic load, and so what happens is the more toxicity that we encounter, the more dysfunctional our bodies become. So is it that certainly the COVID shot with its components have had a lot of negative health implications, many of which we've talked about. So I looked that up, and in the last year, in October last year, International Journal of Medicine, there was an article, study about a potential association between COVID-19 vaccinations and the development of Alzheimer's disease. But it also looked at Alzheimer's disease and, in that being an endpoint, but also mild cognitive impairment in individuals. And this study was done in South Korea. The results showed that there is, in fact, an increased incidence of mild cognitive impairment all the way up to Alzheimer's disease in vaccinated individuals, particularly those receiving the mRNA vaccinations and including boosters. So the statistical significance, they had a 95% confidence interval, and comparing that to the unvaccinated group. So preliminary evidence, this is from the study, suggests that there's a potential link between COVID-19 vaccinations and Alzheimer's disease and mild cognitive impairment. With the components of that that we've talked about, certainly an issue. And of course, we all know that that pharmaceutical product is still available and being promoted. So one of the things that also comes to mind related to that and overall toxic load is ways to improve that situation. Obviously, the first thing is, try to eliminate as many things as possible. And I often get, well, how are you going to do that? There's so many things, negative things in the food, and, it's just impossible, so I just give up. It's still important to try to focus on that. Decrease whatever toxins you're putting in your body, clean water, clean food as much as possible. All these things are certainly a factor. There are products that are helpful for unloading toxins. One of my favorites is zeolite. It's a earth product, a powder. It has a negative charge to it, so it picks up positively charged toxins. This includes heavy metals, petroleum products, mold. It's even helpful for radiation exposure. So when you unload some of these toxins, your body's ability to improve the environment certainly improves. So those are things you can do. In terms of rebuilding cognitive function, relying on supplements is a good thing, but yet it's flawed, because you can't just take supplements and not do the other pieces, the water and the food. So one of the things, is to repair your brain's energy supply in terms of your metabolism. It's important to get carbohydrates. So a lot of the diets that are primarily protein, keto, if you will, that pushes towards a low carb environment. But your body, your brain burns glucose, So you need carbs, and you can get those in the form of vegetables. You can consume fruits. Yes, there's high fructose in fruits, or there's fructose in there, but it's different. It's different than the commercial product. White rice is helpful. As I said before, avoiding the seed oils. The linoleic acid that's part of those seed oils, canola, corn oil, soy, all those things, very detrimental. One thing very positive that you can do is to eliminate those types of products. And just about everything that's ultra-processed has that. Your chips, your salad dressings, your commercial sauces. So stay away from that. Actually, saturated fats are much better for you than these seed oils. So talking things like coconut oil, tallow, ghee, butter, all that's fine. Drink filtered water. I would say that I'd be very cautious about taking over-the-counter iron products. That is an issue. The iron, think about rust. Iron causes oxidation. It's obviously a important metal that is part of your ability to carry oxygen, but too much is certainly a problem. The other thing I'd say is make sure you improve your gut health. That's that's a key thing for any type of health-related issue. And all the things I'm saying impact not only your cognitive function, but your overall well-being. Your hormone balance is important. We mentioned the cortisol, the sunlight, the circadian rhythm. There are things that supplements that can be helpful, a general multivitamin, the other ones that we've mentioned. Reclaiming mental focus, I think, is good. So managing your digital and sensory overload. Get outside. Try to decompress with some of those things. Stay away from the news that makes you crazy. You can your brain can rewire itself. You can improve your metabolic energy. All these things can be improved on, but it's important to get started. So think about that. I hope you all have a great weekend. Enjoy this fall. Come see us at the